readers. My name is Dawn Houston. I'm the coordinator for Booktrib's book club program. I'm here today with author Virginia Kantra to talk about her heartwarming novel inspired by one of my favorite books, The Wizard of Oz. Her book is called The Fairytale Life of Dorothy, Gale. We're thrilled to have this fabulous novel as one of the selections in Booktrib's book club program for January. Thank you so much for taking some time in this busy month to talk to us, Virginia.
Dawn, thank you so much for having me, and hello, readers.
We are going to dive right in because we only have about 5 minutes. So I know I didn't give you much time with these questions, but no spoilers. What can you share about the book that we wouldn't read on the back cover?
Well, Wizard of Oz is obvious, and it does say Ireland, but I don't think that any kind of back cover copy can capture Ireland. I wanted to really take that iconic 1939 movie moment when you go from gray and trouble and difficulty, and Dorothy's swept up and goes bump into Munchkin land and then opens the door, and it's Technicolor. It's magic. It's escape. And I started this book during the pandemic.
Okay.
And so originally, since Dorothy's destination is always Emerald City, I thought Seattle.
Yeah.
But it wasn't other enough. And so we settled on the Emerald Island, Ireland. Um, and I just can't tell you what an escape it was for me. I wasn't able to get to Ireland until the later stages of the book, but
Yeah.
it is all that.
Yeah.
And I think that this book, from the early reviews at least, has captured all that. And so that's something I really am excited about sharing.
That's so fascinating. That's Ireland is on my bucket list of places that I want to visit. I've been, to Europe, but I never have been to Ireland. And that's so that makes me even more excited to read it. And what a great parallel, like the Emerald City, and a lot of books are set in Seattle. So this is great.
Well, thank you.
I can't wait to read that. Why do you think that The Fairytale Life of Dorothy Gale would make such a great book club selection for?
Well, like you, I grew up reading The Wizard of Oz. And one of the things that I really identified with in 10-year-old Dorothy Gale was that she was an ordinary little girl like me.
Mm.
One of the things that Dorothy, the grown up contemporary Dorothy Gale, as a graduate student, does from Kansas, does is I think that she's every woman. So there's a lot in there. Again, no spoilers, but at the beginning of the book, she's very much identified by the male gaze. And there's this sense of her finding her own voice, making her own choices, setting her own path, telling her own story. And I think that's really relatable for a lot of women now. And that stories about women finding their own power. There's that lovely iconic line, you had the power inside you all along.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's a lot to discuss there for book clubs in general, but I think women's groups in particular.
Yeah.
And I think that, and plus there's the whole love triangle thing. If you want to go on a really fun diversion.
And who wouldn't want to go on a fun diversion for sure? That's what. Do you own a pair of ruby slippers, ruby shoes?
I do not, because I have terrible feet, but I have a pair of ruby bedroom slippers.
Oh, that's wonderful. Owning a classic pair of ruby shoes is on my list for one day. I don't know where I'll find them.
Betsy Johnson has a pair, and oh, if my feet weren't so jacked up, I would have bought them in a heartbeat.
Really? Are they expensive?
Yes.
I think I need to look for them.
I can't remember, but yeah, search. They're
Okay.
so. I can send you a link.
Okay, thank you. That's great. Maybe we'll put that in the readers for you. Who doesn't want a pair of ruby shoes? So
Gorgeous.
Okay, so we're going to veer off your book for a second, and I'm curious because we're going to be building our TBR list for January. What is the best book that you read recently or in the last year, fiction or nonfiction, and why?
That is such a difficult question
I
because
know,
I've
I'm
read
sorry.
a lot of really wonderful books this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to go all the way back to January.
Oh,
Amy Popple's The Sweet Spot
oh,
was incredible and sent me in search of all of her backlist. It's an amazing ensemble story, and there's so much humor and sort of these sly, insightful bits. And yet at the same time, it manages to be so good natured and warm hearted. I just thought it's a masterful book. Um, and then because I want to be all current and recent, I'm going to give a plug for Sonali Dev's Lies and Other Love Languages, which is equally stunning in a kind of dramatic, angsty, tender, poignant way.
oh,
And
wow.
I think that that really features some very strong women characters and strong women friendships. So that's really worth reading as well.
Well, with the bookshelf behind you filled with books and the topic of your book, I trust you. So I'm adding those two books to my TBR for sure. Absolutely. Thank
I
you.
think you'll love them.
I can't wait. I know that I could talk to you about your book and The Wizard of Oz probably all day, but I do need to wrap it up. So I wanted to thank you for your time today again.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been a real pleasure to chat with you.
I'm so glad. We look forward to reading your book. For more information about Virginia's book, please check out the book club page on the booktrib.com website.